Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Would like to begin with just a general question for all of our witnesses. Is it your understanding that you are here to advise on the potential for adjudicating some sort of war crime against Vladimir Putin sometime in the future, or to provide a case to us as members of Congress in discussing about violation of international law and war crimes, whether there has been some threshold that the United States should support a no-fly zone or giving jets to the Ukraine? What would be your understanding of why you're here?
Congressman, I can weigh in. My sense is that I am here to provide an understanding of the international legal framework for both what constitutes war crimes and how one might go about prosecuting individuals who've committed war crimes.
Nothing about whether Putin has crossed some threshold at this point or anything else for whether we should increase our involvement today. That would be accurate.
Yes, my sense is that my purpose here was to provide a legal structure and a legal framework and to make suggestions as to how the United States could encourage the further investigation of war crimes and potential prosecution. Yes, sir.
So I'll appreciate, I'll just stick with that. I think I'm asking a question that most would agree that is the purpose of this hearing, to evaluate some kind of war crimes in the future. I think it's important for the American people to know that just minutes ago, we heard from the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky. And we're having a hearing, in my opinion, that is entirely tone deaf, unless the purpose of it is to help evaluate whether we should be enforcing a no-fly zone or granting jets to Ukrainian pilots to go out there and fight the Russians. And my opinion of why this is taking place is to ease the conscience of a Congress that just heard from a president that is pleading for assistance. Where 435 members of the House of Representatives and 100 members of the Senate sat in an auditorium and listened to the Ukrainian president plead for help because of the unconscionable crimes going on in his country, the people being burned, buried in rubble, the infants killed, the attacks. And not even all of the members of the Foreign Affairs Committee are sitting together right now, minutes after, evaluating that plea. Members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee are not meeting with us from the Foreign Affairs Committee later today to say, what did you think about what President Zelensky said? And what is our evaluation of what we should do in the face of his plea? All of us as members of House Foreign Affairs and Senate Foreign Relations and State Department and others, we don't have this on our calendar to discuss later today or later this week, where we will all get together and very sincerely debate the plea of President Zelensky. We will not be sitting with President Biden to discuss this. We will not be sitting with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to discuss this. I think that is unconscionable on our part. I think we are negligent in our duties. And I think the American people should know that members of the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and Blinken and President Biden and others have not, since the inception, since the beginning of this Ukrainian invasion, all sat together behind closed doors discussing and debating what we should actually be doing, whether sending jets to Ukrainian fighters actually moves us up somewhere in some ladder of escalation into conventional war or thermonuclear war. We had not all sat together and given that a deliberate debate, or whether we should be looking at this in terms of, should we have people on the ground or not? We had not all sat together and had a debate in that way. We owe Congress more. We owe the American people more And we owe President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people who are pleading for our help, we owe them more than what we're doing right now to try and ease our conscience from lifting a military finger in their defense, from
Would the
not
gentleman
lifting a
yield?
military finger. I have no more time, but if I did have time, I would yield.
No. Gentleman's time has expired.